The sports page with the Orlando Sentinel and FM 96.9 The Game's Mike the Bulldog Bianchi.
On JRR.
Good morning, Mike Bianchi. How you doing, bud?
The Bulldog is doing great, getting ready for the Magic's playoff series. Nobody, by the way, giving the Magic much of a chance. I think they're 14.5-point underdogs. Game one on Sunday. Nobody's giving them a chance to win the series. Somebody sent me a clip of the Atlanta Hawks play-by-play radio call after the Magic destroyed the Hawks by 25 in that play-in game the other night. And the Hawks radio play-by-play guy is like, at the end of his call, he goes, "Enjoy this, Magic, before you go up to Boston and get your you-know-what's kicked." So
sounds like sour grapes from the ATL.
Little bitter. Exactly. So we'll see what happens with the ATL. The ATL will take on the Miami Heat, who won their play-in game last night against the Chicago Bulls, 109-90. That means the Heat now advance into the second play-in game on Friday night against the Hawks. Winner of that advances into the playoffs to play the top-seeded Cleveland Cavaliers in the first-round series. The Heat, I hope the Heat don't advance. I really do. You know, they've been through hell this year with the Jimmy Butler situation. Looked like they weren't going to make the playoffs for a while, but now they've won like 8 of their last 12, I think. I don't want the Heat to go on a roll here, okay? I do not want that.
You said they're taking on the Hawks, right?
The Heat will take on the Hawks on Friday.
Wouldn't you like to see the Heat at least cook the Hawks after that Hawks comment?
No. The hated Heat?
Yeah, you're right. No, I feel you. I feel you in that. But, okay, so have the Hawks beat the Heat, and then us have to match up with the Hawks again and cook them birds.
Well, that wouldn't happen though.
Okay, I was just trying to make up a scenario where we can rag on this announcer who has bitter grapes, as Pat said.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. The other play-in game last night, the Dallas Mavericks beat the Sacramento Kings 120-106. Dallas advances to play Memphis on Friday night for a chance to get the 8th seed in the West, where they will play Oklahoma City. Anthony Davis led the Mavericks with 27 points. Klay Thompson had 23. Of course, Dallas and their fans are still very disgruntled about the Luka Doncic trade, even though Anthony Davis did lead the team last night. What were you going to say?
You can't blame him.
No, I'd be pissed too.
No. That's going to go down as the worst trade in modern NBA history. We'll see what happens, guys. I know you guys don't like to talk politics, but did you guys see who's put his name in the hat for the Democratic presidential bid in 3 years?
Oh, Stephen Smith.
Stephen A. Smith, baby. Yeah. Stephen A., the bombastic one. I'll tell you what, the Democrats could use somebody like him. I'd consider Stephen A. over some of these other candidates the Democrats are putting out there.
I thought you were going to say Antonio Brown's running.
I'd like to alert everybody that we have now entered official. It's going to be a slow sports day over on the Bulldog Show there on AM 740, FM 96.9.
That's big news. He went on ABC News and he went on Fox News with Sean Hannity to announce this.
All right. We're not talking politics over here, dog.
It's a big deal. Big deal. Gators got a huge basketball transfer. Xavier Lee, the best point guard in the transfer portal. He's going to sign with the Gators. He's from Princeton. Was, again, one of the best point guards in the country last year, and now he's coming to the to Gainesville to replace the great Walter Clayton Jr., who led the Gators to the national championship.
Guys, I was reading this piece about the transfer portal as it pertains to men's college basketball. More than 2,000 players have gone into that. Baylor lost their entire team.
The whole team?
The whole team is gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Baylor guys bailed.
Yes, exactly.
Speaking of the transfer portal, Nico Iamaleava, the Tennessee quarterback who held out and got kicked off the team, he's now in discussions with UCLA, but for much less money than he demanded.
Check.
Rock station is WJRR.